All right. Good afternoon. We'll go ahead and get started. If you don't know, I'm Gene Josh, president here at the college, and we're in for a special treat today. Each fall, we try to provide an experience for you that you normally wouldn't have. And so the last 3 years, we brought in Jennifer Farr Davis, who was the world record holder for hiking the Appalachian Trail. We brought a gentleman in who walked across America and wrote a book about it. And then last year we brought in Chris Skinner, who had experience with drunk driving and kind of a powerful message around that. Today we have Jeff Wright with us, who is going to talk about the 6 steps to success in the 3 cultures you must navigate. I ran into Jeff about 7 or 8 years ago, and he's arguably the best economic development guy continuing in North Carolina. He's since retired from that position, and now he works, so obviously he was working with business and industry in Alamance County of Burlington, North Carolina. He now is into private work, and he's a business developer, culture advisor, consultant, and motivational speaker. Jeff does a lot of work in this area, and I use the term edutainment when I think of Jeff. He will educate you and also entertain along with that in terms of storytelling and anecdotes and the like. He's a national speaker. In July, he spoke at a national convention, and later this month he'll go to 5 cities in California to talk about change and other kinds of things. And so we're delighted, and you're in for a treat. He has a powerful message and a powerful speaker, and so we're delighted to have my friend and colleague Jeff Wright join us today. So welcome. Deviation.
Thank you, Gene. Has everybody got the handout? That's important that you have the handout. Well, if you want to follow along, if you want to be confused, go away. Guess what I did on the way in? I stopped at exit 19 because I saw a Walmart. And I know that's not a big deal to you, but it's a big deal to me because back home, there's no water, no bread, no cereal, no nothing in the grocery stores. So I went to your grocery store, and my whole truck's full of water, bread, cereal, all kinds of groceries. I thought that was smart. Evidently, that didn't impress you that I did that. It impressed my wife. The 6 steps. Let's just get into it because we don't have that much time. This talk takes like right at an hour. I'm going to have to go fast. So if you look at your handout, all the words on the far right, you see those? They're darker words. It starts with confidence and it ends with ritual. So we all look at the same thing. And then over the far left, you see these words to the side. Is everybody following those? Should, won't, and must. You see those? So we're talking basically 2 different discussions going on at the same time. I've intertwined both of them together. So the one on the far left are the 3 worlds that you must navigate if you want to be successful. And on the far right are the 6 steps that you must follow to be successful. So we cool with that? Everybody understand what we're doing? Now, if you want, I'm used to talking to groups that 5,000 at a time, and I can't see my audience. So this is kind of a flashback to when I was at the college and actually seeing your faces. And I can see if you understand what I'm talking about. But the should world is where most people are stuck. 70% of our population live in a should world. Then you move to the next one, the want world. There's about 25%, give or take, in the want world. And only 5% of our population live in a must world. Now, do I visit the must world? Do you visit the must world? Yes, you do. And when you do, that 5% goes way up. But I'm talking about, when I say 5%, I'm talking about the people that live in it 24/7. They don't ever leave it. So you and I leave it. I did something at McDonald's before I came over here. I wrote some checks for bills. I was in my must world. I must get those done. I've got the letters in the car. I told Dr. Couch, find me a post office because I must mail those or they'll turn off my power or whatever, right? So we do live in a must world. I just don't stay there. Why don't I stay there? Because it's hard to stay there. And I'm not one of those people that want to stay there. Could all of you live there 24/7? Yes, but you wouldn't like it. But the more you can visit it, the more you're going to be successful. All those people that live in the must world, that 5%, they have all the money. And the reason they have all the money, because they outwork you and I. They're going to outwork us. Because they think about work when they're sleeping. I probably, and maybe you, live in the want world, the 25%. I probably am most comfortable there. But there's got to be some people in this room that are in the 70%, the should. And if you are, we're not going to identify you today. That would be embarrassing. But if you are, you'll know who you are, and you'll know that I'm talking to you when I start to describe that world and how to graduate and get out of that world. I mean, some of you, this is the first time you've gone to school or you've gone back to school. You're trying to restart your interest in education. You're wanting to have a career one day. You want to have some money. You want to live comfortably. You're going to have to get out of the should world. You're going to live paycheck to paycheck if you live in the should world. I'm just trying to be real with you. So let's talk about why most people, 70%, are stuck right there. Well, they're stuck on go, which is trust. We gotta get them off that one first. Trust and hope is is problematic for most people. Because if you don't trust and you don't hope, you'll never have that confidence that you need to be successful. So let's talk about trust for a second. What do I mean by trust? Now, I have a whole 3-hour presentation just on trust and how to create trust. How to trust and how to get people to trust you. Now, I'm talking today about how to trust. I've got a whole class to teach you how to get people to trust you. Just like that. Just like that. Secret. I got secret sauce on how to do that. And it's called Sales Training 101. I do a lot of that. But getting people to trust you is one thing. And by the way, the secret sauce to getting people to trust you is one thing, and one thing only. You've got to be likable. If you're not likable, people are not going to give you the benefit of the doubt, and they will not trust you. So if you're some grumpy old, cranky old person, they're not going to trust you, even though you might be trustworthy. Just think about that. But let's talk about trusting ourselves. The reason people are stuck on trust is they cannot separate their past from their future. I'm going to say that again. You're not willing, I didn't say you can't, you're not willing to separate your past from your future. You like to wallow around in your past. And you drag it around with you like a little red wagon. I go to these conventions. There's 5,000 people. After I get through speaking, all those people that have trust issues come stand in line, and I watch them drag their past with them. They're pulling it in a little cart. And then they want advice from me, but really they don't want advice. Guess what they want? They want to dump all that stuff that's in their past on my lap. And I'm telling them they must separate their past from their future, or they won't have a future. And another way of looking at it is stop looking for old answers in new places. If you got a new beginning, quit thinking about how it used to be somewhere else. I used to go teach at companies, and I would try to teach the company culture of Walmart, for example, or Honda. And when I would go learn about their culture, I would basically be like a cultural advisor for that company, and I would go try to tell people about the Walmart way or the Chick-fil-A way. So when I would go to Walmart and it'd be a distribution center, I would look at everybody and they had something in common. They had a shirt and it was embroidered on there that they worked at Walmart. Now that's important to remember because as soon as I had them in a room and I was telling them the Walmart way, they started talking about where they used to work. And I would look at them and say, brother, nobody cares about what happened to you in the past. Nobody cares about what happened to you at Kaiser Rolf, GKN, Honda, wherever you came from. All we need to look at is what does it say on your shirt? You're at Walmart now. Quit looking for old answers in new places. Let the past be the past, man. Quit dragging it to the future, or you're not going to have a future. Now, I can't be more clear about that, and I'm being kind of straightforward with you because this is where people get stuck right there. Please heed that advice. The next one, hope. If you can stop looking for old answers, then you've now got to apply hope. And I'm going to tell you what, hope is powerful. Believing that things can get better for you is hope. If you don't believe things can get better, then they're not going to get better. And you're going to live every day like it's yesterday. Every day is going to be like yesterday. You're going to be basically in a movie that I watched called Groundhog's Day. And you're Bill Murray. And every day is the same day. If you can't trust and you can't hope that things can get better for you. And it's also your job to instill hope to people. When I go try to create culture at companies, one of the things I do is, and this sounds a little hokey, and it is a little hokey, but it works. I make the employees do this. They do this motion. And they say, some of them, do something else when they do that figure, but they I'm trying to get them used to it. And they point. Right, they go. And they say 2 words that provides hope to another individual. 2 really important words. You matter. And they walk around telling everybody, hey, you matter. Some of them kind of just, they don't even get it out. But I try to force them to say that because people want to know that their existence matters. They want social confirmation that their time on this earth matters and they matter. That's why Facebook and Instagram and all those social media banned and what's up app and all those things that y'all get on and talk to each other. Because you want people to know, hey, I'm out here. I'm alive. Recognize me. And then you recognize them and you like them. And they get all excited because I got, recognized. Because people want to know they matter. So those 2 things, I beat them to death, but they're important. Those 2 things create confidence. And confidence is something you should not take for granted. Your conscious ability to overcome obstacles that are put in front of you, that's what confidence does to you. It's a sense of certainty that you have. You walk with that. You talk with that. You have a complete sureness in your ability. But guess what? Confidence has an enemy. Just like Batman has the Joker, confidence has its arch enemy, a villain that's going to come like a thief in the night and take your confidence away. And you know who this person is? It's called doubt. Doubt's coming for your confidence. And if your confidence is built on a bunch of falsehoods, then doubt's just going to pull the rug right out from under you. And doubt is coming armed with its own set of tools to disarm your confidence. And I call them the is's, the r's, and the am's. The is's, the r's, and the am's. And let's just put something in front of them to give it context. Life is blank. People are blank. I am blank. If you fill in the blanks with positive words, you're telling me you got some confidence. But if you fill in those words with negative, they have negative connotations, your confidence is built on falsehoods. So, confidence would be like, an example would be, life is exciting. People are amazing. I am thirsty to learn more. Whatever. But some of you say, life is hard. People are cruel. I'm tired. Your rhetoric tells me everything I need to know about you when I meet you. I can sum you up in about 3 minutes, each one of them. Just based on the language you use and the way you stand, I can see your confidence. Listen, I was young. It's hard to believe. I was young one time like you are, sitting there listening to somebody stand up and talk to you like this. I remember it. I'm sitting there going, they made me come. When's it going to be over? And I get it. I'm just hoping just a little bit of this will sink in. Just a little bit. So you take that confidence down to the next level, which I've done for you here, like a little recipe, right? You see where I brought it down to the next level? And now what are we pairing it with? We're pairing this newfound confidence with identity. Now, I taught sociology when I was at the community college. Sociology is built upon two things: culture and identity. We spend a lot of time talking about identity. And what does identity give you? It gives you a perspective. And I'm going to get back to that in a second. So let's talk about identity. Identity is what you're searching for every day, especially when you're young, because you're trying to fit in. You're trying to find placement in this world that you're in right now. And identity comes in two forms: meaning and purpose. Meaning and purpose. So, what do you find meaning? How do you find meaning? What do you find meaning in? Meaning is your what you are, and your purpose is who you are. And you got to have both to have a healthy perspective or a healthy identity. Can't have just one. Now, most Americans are good with one of them, the what. They place all their identity on what they do. Now, hopefully you will never do this in your lifetime. I have made the mistake of doing it 3 times now. I promised myself I won't do it again. It's called a high school reunion. Just stay away from it. There's nothing good can happen there. But when you go there, people come up and they introduce themselves with their what identity. They'll say stuff like, "What you been up to, man?" Back where in Alamance, Canada, everybody uses man at the end of the sentence. So, "What you been up to, man?" That's code for, what are you doing for a living? Have you made it? Because I'm about to tell you what I do, and it's going to top what you did. Right? We're just kind of measuring ourselves on the what. I didn't like high school when I was in high school. So when they come up to me and tell me, we have this what discussion, and they tell me what they're doing now, I'll say, "I'm an undertaker." And you would be amazed how many people will get away from you if that's your profession. So that's the, we lead off with the what. Now, as you go to high school reunions and you go to like your 30th or your 40th, people stop leading off of that because, one, they've retired. 2, they've now got this special thing called grandchildren. And they lead with their why, and they lead with their purpose. They start showing you photos of their family. They don't sit there and go, "Let me tell you what I'm doing for a living now." That's at your 10-year and your 20-year. At your 30 and 40, it's all about purpose. But you've got to be settled in your mind on happy with what you're doing, but also why you do it. See, people don't get burned out on what they do. They get burned out when they forget why they do it. So when you're choosing a career, Don't pick a career that's going to make you have this mentality of, I'm putting in my 8 and hit the gate. And you're just counting minutes like you do in a class. And you're clock watchers your whole life. All right, so that's identity. Your placement. You put confidence in identity, it creates what is called initiative. Initiative is important because that's what's going to get you moving. That's that introductory step, that leap of faith that you take to set your life in motion. It's what got you to come in here today. You're here for a reason. You didn't just poof, hop out of your bed and you're here now. You got yourself ready, washed yourself off, and got here, put some clothes on, thank God, and got in here. You took some initiative. But initiative alone is not going to make you successful. Oh no, it's not. And guess what? Our friend Doubt, remember Doubt that we defeated, shook Doubt off? Doubt's got on the phone and called his evil twin brother to come to the party now. Because Doubt's ticked off that you got rid of it, so now it's going to call its friend to attack your newfound initiative. And this person that's coming now to the party is much more dangerous than Doubt. It is called procrastination. You all know procrastination. Some of you live with procrastination daily. They got a room in your house. How many of us start stuff we never finish? All these projects that we got all these great ideas. We have initiative, and then procrastination starts to whisper in our ear like, why don't you just put it off till tomorrow? Tomorrow's a better day. Tomorrow's the best day, according to procrastination. Procrastination brings these tools. The ifs, the buts, and the whens. The ifs, the buts, and the whens. If you can defeat procrastination, you'll say, if I could do more. But it's not too late. When can I get started? But procrastination is hoping you'll fill in the blanks like this. If I wasn't so tired, but I'm not ready when I find the time. Ever had that voice in your head? Every day? Yeah. Initiative. Just listen to this about procrastination. God willing, we'll wait to see another day. For all of us, I hope we wait to see another day. But it's not a guarantee that our dreams will follow us if you let procrastination get the best of your life. Now, if you want to graduate from the should world, you're going to have to defeat those two enemies, doubt and procrastination. Now, I usually tell this story in between the three worlds of the should, the won't, the must. And I'm debating about telling it now because I don't know how many of you actually, it's not that I'm afraid to say this, it disappoints me when everybody doesn't have any experience with this. Because it tells me I'm getting old and it just disturbs me. But I like to make an analogy of these three worlds using the Wizard of Oz. Y'all, you do understand, some of you, I've had people in class that have never seen the Wizard of Oz. I don't want to know who you are, because it makes me look at you differently. Just pretend like you know what I'm talking about. The Wizard of Oz. So, in the Wizard of Oz, Dorothy lands in where the Munchkins are, and they tell her if she wants to be on her road to success, follow the yellow road. So she follows it. She's doing what she's been told to do, and she runs into this first person along her journey, and it's the Scarecrow. See, that's good. The Scarecrow. And so the Scarecrow is typical of people that are in the should world. He's over in a field. He's settled. He's stuck on a pole. He's nailed up to a pole. And he tells her he can't get down. But he tells her all the stuff he'd do if he could get down. And should people do that? Should people ain't going to do nothing nothing, but they'll tell you what they would do if they could do it. She goes, oh, so that's your excuse, that nail? She pops that nail, now he's off. He's walking around. She's looking at him like, what you going to do now? He goes, well, I'd go with you if I only had a brain. Now, another excuse. See, people in the shook world are full of excuses. So the best way to help somebody get out of this world is what Dorothy did for the scarecrow. She taught him in this world, this word is not a good word in education. So just excuse me for this, but it's the word she taught him. She taught him to copy. Okay? Copy. Model her behavior. She actually said, grab my arm, walk as I walk, talk as I talk, do as I do. Now, he scrambled off this way and that way and didn't want to stay on the yellow brick road. And she jerked him back and said, we're going to walk this way in unison. You got to find somebody else that's successful. If you keep associating with people that are not successful, you're not going to be successful. You've got to find people that have done it the way you want to do it and model that behavior. Quit hanging around people that full of excuses and they ain't never done nothing in their life. You think that they're going to help you get somewhere? Association is king. Also, copy. Copy. That's how you get out of the shook world. Right. So we're moving on to the next world. I'm doing pretty good on time. Not too bad. All right. So we're taking this newfound initiative down to the want world, right? You're ready to embark on new adventures. Every day is New Year's Eve without the drink. Every day you're making a New Year's resolution. Not just wait until December 31st. Every day is December 31st. If you have this thing called initiative. So initiative is a form of effort, and it's the ability to get up off the mat when you've been knocked down. That's how people are going to measure what kind of person you are. Not that you're going to get knocked. Everybody gets knocked down. It's how fast you get back up. And you match this effort, this initiative, with the next one, which is called persistence. Persistence. And persistence is like a form of determination. Determination. I always ask this question. Do you think a person can change their destiny in life? Do you think so? Some of you think so? I guess you wouldn't be here if you didn't think you could. See, I think a person does what they can until their destiny is revealed. But see, if you don't take initiative and match it up with persistence, you're going to miss the window of opportunity when it comes along because you're not going to be awake to see it. So you match this effort with determination, this persistence. And by the way, the best way to keep persistence alive in most people's heart and be dogged with your determination, persistence is motivated best with a cause. You match a cause with something, it's going to light a fire in your belly. People are motivated by a cause. You've got to have a cause, a reason to get up every day. You put those two together, it creates ambition. Now, before I talk about ambition, the academics in the room, some in my field of sociology, a lot in psychology, will argue that I've got these out of order. They want ambition to be before initiative. And you tell me if you like my rationale of why I did this. Because it goes against the grain. Because a lot of people go, well, you got to have an ambition. You got to have a dream before you can have initiative. If you wait around for ambition, you ain't never going to get started. Get started and your ambition will catch up. Here's here's the question. If you believe initiative is precursor to ambition, you are going to agree with this statement. I will because I can. If you believe ambition comes before initiative, you believe I can, and therefore I will. I believe in I will, and my can will catch up. I'm not going to wait for my dream to be bigger than my obstacles. Because that's what ambition is. It's a dream that's bigger than your obstacles. Ambition is a desire, a mindset, a desire for distinction. It reminds me of the movie Titanic. Y'all remember that?
Yes.
Not as old as The Wizard of Oz. Came out in 97. Jack and Rose, it's a love story. Y'all get it? Y'all understand, some of you? All right. So Jack is a poor kid. Rose is a rich girl. And they fall in love. But she gets him to come to a party. Well, he gets invited because he saves her life, sort of, kind of. And she gets him to come because he needs to be rewarded for saving her life. And he gets to eat with the rich one night because he's in the bottom of the ship where the poor are. And he's going up to the top where the rich are, and he's getting to eat all this fancy food. And they get him to make a toast at the end. Some of them want to embarrass him because they don't think he knows how to make a toast. And he says in his toast the definition of ambition. Make every day count like it's your last, which is a precursor of what's about to happen on that ship. And James Cameron wrote the script for this, so this is sort of a lot of symbolism here. Making every day count. Desire for achievement, desire for distinction, a willingness to stay the course no matter what. That's ambition. That's what ambition does to you. A sense of advancement by dreaming. It starts with a dream. So if you take ambition, well, I got to say this about ambition. It has an enemy too. We think we've got rid of doubt and procrastination. Let's just say for this class that we're doing, sort of, that you can shake those off. I think they always come back knocking on the door. But let's say you get rid of doubt and procrastination. Guess who's going to attack next? Who's going to attack your ambition? It's even more scary than doubt and procrastination put together. For me, it's the most scary one because the age I am. I'm 56. I am scared to death of this one. You're not. It only comes for you until you don't have to worry about this next one until you're about 37. Then it's coming for you. Big time. And it doubles down every year after 37. But right now, you'll laugh. You'll shake this one off because it's not going to affect you. It's called regret. Regret. You live long enough, you'll live long enough to have regret move in beside you. I know that regret exists because when I do this experiment, I'm not going to do it with you guys, but I've done this experiment. When I have an older crowd, they all take me up on my offer. Younger crowds look at me like, nah, because you're young. You don't even know what regret is. So here, you want to hear the experiment that I do with the older crowd? Let's pretend. That was like rhetorical. I don't even care if you want to know. I'll tell you. So let's pretend that outside these doors, I've got a time machine. I've invented a time machine. And it's going to allow you to go back in time for 15 minutes. You can go back to your birth all the way to yesterday. Anytime in between, you can go visit your former self for 15 minutes. And you can give your former self advice. Or try to talk you out of doing something stupid. When I ask this to people that are over 37, How many would want to go into the time machine, back to that time that they're thinking about for 15 minutes? They all raised their hand. Don't be that person that raises your hand 20 years from now when somebody gets up in front of you and asks the same question. I'm going to tell you how you can avoid regret in a second. But I'd like to know, because it disturbs me when young people raise their hand for this, because you haven't lived long enough to regret anything. But how many of you want to go in the time machine and know exactly where you'll be going for 15 minutes? Now, before you raise your hand, realize you've got to talk your former self out of something. And if you're old, like me, my former self probably won't even recognize me. I'm like, I'm you at 56. They're like, what? So how many of you would go back? Raise your hand. A lot of regret in Virginia. Well, we can talk about that for a long time. I'm not going to go there. All right. So, ambition, when you put it with enthusiasm. Now, that's a heck of a combination. A heck of a combination. Ambition and enthusiasm together, you got something magical going on. That's magic in a bottle right there. Ambition matched with enthusiasm. Enthusiasm is this, gosh, some of you only have it for the stuff you like. Which makes sense, right? It's tricking yourself into having it all the time, even for the stuff you can't stand. That's when you become successful. These people that walk around all happy, and they're happy they're not happy all the time, they're faking it. You're going to have to learn to fake it till you make it. You're going to have to act like you're enthusiastic. Sit up and act like you care about whoever's talking, not just me, just whoever's talking. Fake it. You don't know who's watching you. Somebody be watching you. Hey, that person acts like they care. They got their act together. Have some eagerness about you. It's a passion for life is what I'm talking about. Passion for life. I know you got it, because I know certain things get you excited. You know, outside of here. You can see when that passion comes on your face, because you're doing something you like. But if you don't tackle life with enthusiasm, you're going to become lethargic. And the worst thing that can happen is you become complacent, and after that, the biggest demotivator of all is getting comfortable. Getting comfortable. You're going to hit, a lot of you in this room are going to get success, and you're going to get 3 paychecks away from poverty, and you're going to go, I have made it. If you stop there, you're never going to have that full success that you want. You can't get comfortable. This is almost like being in a time machine for you today. It really is. I'm telling you what's about to happen to you in about 20 years. I'm warning you. And you'll remember back, that crazy man from North Carolina was telling me all this, and he was right. Don't make me right. Just avoid these traps. I wish I'd have listened to someone. I would have done some things different. Still would have probably been standing here, but a few things different. So, enthusiasm and ambition. You put those together, it creates, this is a really important part of success. Drive. Drive. A hunger. That's what drive is. Hunger. A thirst to do more. To want more. That's why they call it the want world. It needs you to have one thing, drive does. Dignity. And dignity is basically your pride and your self-respect. You've got to have those to have drive. What is coming after your drive is called, it's a tricky one. It's kin to regret, but it's tricky. It's called deviation. Because deviation is not going to say, hey, take a semester off. It's going to say, like procrastination would say, just put it off for a semester. Deviation is going to say, hey, Why don't you just take the semester off, but then go to the spring and do the summer? It kind of tries to make a deal with you. It's tricky that way. It's a con artist. Deviation is. Just, hey, take a break. Don't stop what you're doing. Continue down that track. Just take a slight break. Don't just quit. Just take a break. Deviate from the plan. It may say, instead of taking 5 classes, you know what? Just take 3. You're still doing it though. It's in your ear saying, you're still doing it. You're still on track. You might not graduate when you want to begin with, but you deserve a break. You're working hard. You've been taking 5 classes for 3 straight semesters. Take 3 this time. So how do we get out of the want world? My story is about Wizard of Oz once again. So we'll go back to the Wizard of Oz. Now, we fast forward in the Wizard of Oz. She's met 2 more people. She's traveling with, somebody who don't have a brain. One of them got a heart, and one of them's got no courage. A heck of a group that she's hooked up with, and now she's moving closer to her goal, and then she gets captured. Like we all do. We all have the wicked witch in our life. Not literally. Some of you literally do, but the wicked witch is these obstacles that are set in front of you to keep you from achieving your goals, to be successful. So the wicked witch captures Dorothy, puts her in the witch's castle. And what a dark story for children, little children to watch. I mean, I watched it as a kid. I'm completely scarred by it. So I remember there was an hourglass, and that witch said, you got this much time to live, and you're going to die. That's great. Great message. Yeah. And then you got her makeshift posse that's going to kind of break her out. They ain't going to break nobody out of anything. They ain't got no brain, no heart, and no courage. And guess what happens to them? They get captured too. So they're all captured now. Now the wicked witch is kind of like rubbing it in their face. They wanted her broom. They needed her broom to be successful. That was their golden ticket, was the broom. And she's sort of lording that broom up in the air and going, basically, I'm the winner and you're all losers. Big, fat losers. I'm the winner. And in that moment, Dorothy showed us how to graduate from the want world. She got some drive. She's ready to take her life back. And the way you do that, Frank Baum, who wrote The Wizard of Oz, love Frank Baum. I went to Hollywood, went down Hollywood Boulevard, and right off Hollywood Boulevard is where his apartment was and where he died. And I went there. I know that sounds morbid, but it was a big deal for me. So Frank Baum, there's a lot of symbolism in Wizard of Oz. A lot of symbolism. And this is the most important part of the movie. And you may not have known this and what he meant by this. But when she threw that water on that witch, now her friend's on fire. Her world is collapsing. Chaos all around her. She grabs that water and she throws it on that witch. And in that moment, Frank Baum was giving you, me, everybody permission to take our lives back. She was saying, and this is what you've got to say if you're going to get out of the want world. And some of you are right today, I know right now, sitting there, you're struggling with what I'm about to say. This is it. This is the moment. And you've got to come to grips with what I'm about to say. And she set forth. She basically said, when she threw that water on that witch, and she extinguished her demons, she said, I deserve better than this crap. I do, and my friends do. And you do too. If you can't say that, you ain't got no life, friend. You've got to say, I deserve better. I am not going to be a victim of my past. You do deserve better. And everybody in here, matters. That's how you get out of those two worlds. You matter, and you deserve better. So now, are we ready to go to the last word? So we're taking our newfound drive to the must word. Now, drive is a recognition of an opportunity put in front of you. That's what drive is. Herb Brooks, the coach of the 1980 Miracle on Ice hockey team, said this about drive. Great moments are born with great opportunity. But you're not going to recognize that opportunity unless you have this thing called drive. Abraham Lincoln said, see what is before you. See the here and now. It's the hardest thing for you to see, but it's the only thing that counts and matters. So, drive. I'm going to give you a secret way to cheat to get some drive. A lot of people think fear is terrible. I think fear is a virtue. Read Proverbs. Fear is a virtue. And fear, guess what it does? It fuels your sense of urgency. And drive cannot exist without urgency. Some of you need some urgency. Quit going through the motions. And listen, the reason I showed up for 30 years at the college, because I was afraid not to do it. I don't know what I was afraid of, but some of you are not afraid anymore. Like, I'll just quit. You're not afraid to quit. You're not afraid to fail. I was scared to death to fail. I didn't even know what the penalty was. I was just scared. I just knew I shouldn't do it. I used fear as a motivator to create urgency, because that's what fear does. And urgency creates drive. Now, you put that sense of urgency with this thing called discipline, because I was going to ask you guys, and I didn't, I forgot to ask you. If you could circle one word on your page that you could take and give yourself a shot of, like an inoculation, which word would do you the most good? You know, for me, the most important word that's got me to this point in my life is the one we're talking about now. Discipline. Discipline. A sense of structure. I know Dr. Couch's word is discipline. That's what he's all about. So discipline is when, discipline will fail you if you don't have this one thing. Consequence. There's got to be consequences, or you will not stick to your new discipline. Consequences. Big time consequences. So, urgency comes from fear, and consequence comes from guilt. Guilt and fear are my friend. I'm afraid to fail. And I feel guilty when I don't do all I can. And that's self-imposed on me. I do that to myself. But I know that if I hadn't done that growing up, the discipline that I had growing up has got me to this point. You would not be hearing me talk today if I did not get myself out of bed while I was in high school and get up and run every day. I ran every day before school. I don't know why I was running. I wasn't Forrest Gump, but I was wanting to run. I ran every day. I was getting myself in shape for something. Something great was going to be put out there for me to achieve. But I had to get ready for it. And that thing did come. It came in a form of college. And I've told Dr. Couch's story before. I'll tell you this now. I think it's powerful because it's the reason I'm here. I didn't have enough money to go to college. My mom didn't have enough money. My dad had left us, and we didn't have any money. And the prospects of me going to college, I worked all summer. I saved enough money. My mother gave me some money I went one semester, and the prospects of me going after that were not good. But I went to a college that had a tennis program, and I was good at tennis, and I walked on and got a tennis scholarship. But I didn't get it because of my good looks. I got it because of my diligence and my discipline. My discipline got me that scholarship because I had to enter a tournament that lasted 3 weeks with people that were better tennis players than me. But guess what they weren't good at? Discipline. Guess what they hadn't done? Run 7 miles a day. I was going to outwork them on that court. My skills were not as good as theirs, but my endurance and my effort I was going to outwork them. And I did. And I won that spot on that tennis team and got my scholarship. And went to college. And I'm here now. And I owe everything to discipline. Everything. All those mornings. Dark mornings, getting up and running. For that one opportunity that was coming my way. And so you put discipline with drive, it creates, to me, the most important part of this talk today. The secret sauce of all secret sauces is routine. But you can't get to routine without drive and discipline. And routine is, I call it this. If you don't remember anything else I say today, this is how you become successful. Routine means mastering the mundane. Because guess what? Life ain't that exciting. Work is not that exciting. Getting up every day and doing the same thing for 30 years wasn't that exciting. But guess what? I learned to master the mundane. That's what you're going to have to do. Some of you are going to go, I don't want to do that. That ain't no fun. Everything you do ain't going to have to be fun. You're going to have to learn to master the mundane. Fun will come. There's fun in there. I had some fun. But mastering the mundane is when you get your grown-up card. Chronologically, you're going to get older, but you're not going to be a grown-up until you can master the mundane without complaining about it. If you can do that, you will, and you match it up with this thing called habit. See, habit just suddenly happens after you master the mundane. It's sort of in your subconscious. So habit is, I call it the, Tom Cruise is in a movie called Last Samurai. And he was in this movie where he's learning to use a samurai sword, and he's terrible at it. And his little kid is laughing at him and giving him advice. And the little kid, in his broken English, says, too much mind. Too much mind. What's he trying to tell Tom Cruise? You're thinking about it too much. Just do it. Quit thinking about it. Just do it. That's what habit does for you. And habit turns into ritual. Now, ritual is tricky. See, growing up, for whatever reason, when I was a little boy, I didn't want to brush my teeth. I thought it was like a game that I was going to play with my parents. I would go in there and wet the toothbrush and say, look. I thought it was smarter than at 4 or 5 years old. And so my dad figured it out real quick, and he came in there and monitored the situation, made sure I brushed my teeth, and I just hated it. I hated it. And then I discovered girls, and then I thought, I should brush my teeth. But now, you're looking at somebody that hated doing that, but it is now. I mastered that mundane. It is now a ritual in my life. I carry a toothbrush everywhere I go. I know Dr. Couch does too. I got a toothbrush in my pocket. I got one in a bag. I got backup toothbrushes everywhere in every town. I'm going to brush my teeth at least 3 times a day. I love the fact that I control that. But it's almost ritualistic the way I go about it. But that's what you've got to become obsessed about what you do. And the obligation that you have while you're doing it. That's the last step. Now, to bring it home, let's talk about Dorothy one more time. See, when Dorothy got to Oz, she realized something you're going to have to realize. To get out of something, you can't go around it. You got to go through it. To get out of Oz, she had to go through Oz. The best analogy for me is the cow and the buffalo story. Y'all heard this before? I love Chick-fil-A, by the way. I'm just like obsessed with Chick-fil-A. It's very ritualistic in my life. I love Chick-fil-A. And I could not find a Chick-fil-A coming here. So I did not have my lunchtime Chick-fil-A. I did it eat at McDonald's. But, so, I'm telling this because I love cows because I love the Chick-fil-A commercials. But cows are not very smart animals. They're not very smart. The buffalo, on the other hand, are pretty smart. So when a storm comes up on the plains, the cows run away from the storm and the buffaloes run toward the storm. The cows are not good hiders either. They don't know how to hide. So the storm finds them, tosses them in the air, and kills said cow. The buffalo runs through the storm, minimizing the effect and the time they're in said storm. Are you going to be a buffalo? Or are you going to be a cow? Because bad times are not just going to come one time in your life. Storms are coming all the time. You can't run away from them. You got to run through them. And what's going to help you do that is your drive, your discipline, your acceptance of a habit, and acceptance of a routine. That's the message that I hope you take away from here. I'm done now because it's 3 o'clock. I've enjoyed talking to you. I hope you got something out of it. Thank you.